Listen, I know what you're thinking. There's no such thing as an AEC collection. How can you have all of it? Oh, just stick around and watch.
Hi, and welcome back. My name is Jeremiah, and this is the first episode in a new series that I'm starting to share one of my favorite parts of this hobby, the joy of hunting to finish a set. I'm calling it, You Have Them All? Because that's what I usually hear from people I'm talking to when trying to complete some of these sets. Whether it's trying to get all the Norfolk Southern Heritage units with their hopper cars and cabooses, or trying to piece together all of the famous American Railroad sets, or looking all over the place for the last two Odyssey Demonstrator SD70 Max that I need that were never sold to the public, it's one of my favorite things. Most times, these chases take me years, which makes it all the more rewarding when it finally comes together. In this video, we're going to dig into the Lionel AEC collection. I think, and I'm sure if I don't, you will point it out in the comments, every single item save one that Lionel has ever officially cataloged for the AEC road name, as well as a few they haven't. And we're going to take a look at all of them in this video. Along the way, I'll point out some of the history of the AEC, which was an actual government agency at one point, show some of the more interesting pieces in the collection, and then share any stories behind how I found them. Of course, many of you, rightfully so, are just here to see the trains run, so we'll definitely finish up with some quiet train running time. Let's jump in and get started. If you have any questions or thoughts, or if I've missed anything in the AEC collection, please go ahead and leave that down in the comments. With that, let's get started.
Lionel first started using the AEC as a road name in 1959. The AEC, or the United States Atomic Energy Commission, was an agency that the U.S. developed after World War II that was designed to help transfer nuclear power, which at that point had really only been used to create weapons, into more of a peacetime posture and drive research into ways that the technology could be beneficial for everyone. In 1946, President Truman transferred all control of atomic energy from military to civilian hands, and then shortly after that created the United States Atomic Energy Commission, which wasn't exactly the most successful agency that Congress had ever created. While the AEC was designed to continue the scientific discoveries around nuclear power, it was also supposed to regulate all of the different things that the private sector was starting to do with it. Things like radiation protection standards and standards of safety for nuclear reactors and environmental protection were also supposed to be taken care of by the AEC, but on those things it was pretty terrible.
The desert domed upward, 290 feet. Eventual uses of these nuclear explosives: dig a new harbor on a barren coast, build a lake or a dam, carve underground storage cavities, help produce natural gas and oil, and create new elements. Nuclear explosives may be the most efficient way to excavate a sea-level canal, safely, quickly, and for less cost than conventional means. New canals for ships of any size.
Clearly, it was a different time, but yeah, that's not great. They also carried out a series of pretty unethical medical experiments between 1949 and 1953 that really hurt public trust in the AEC as well as in the nuclear technology they were researching and regulating. When combined with increased environmental concerns, the AEC quickly became one of the more unpopular parts of the US government. By the early 1970s, the AEC's regulatory issues had become such an issue that Congress decided to abolish it altogether. In 1974, the AEC was broken into two different agencies, one to handle regulatory functions and one to handle promotional activities. Then, in 1977, President Carter collected both of those agencies together and built what we know of today as the Department of Energy. Despite these changes and attempts to make nuclear power and nuclear research safer, it wasn't until 1993 that President Clinton ordered a change of policy towards the government covering up the radiation-related experiments that were being conducted around the country. In 1959, Lionel released the first of many AEC items, the number 57 AEC switcher. The first and easily most valuable of these items wasn't the best quality post-war item Lionel ever introduced, but that hasn't kept it from being incredibly popular. The unpainted white shell in almost every instance has deteriorated into a cream color. The window struts are incredibly fragile, and in almost every one you'll find for sale they are broken or have been replaced or repaired. It was an incredibly poor puller, as no magnetraction and no traction tires left it capable of only pulling one or maybe two post-war freight cars. It was only manufactured for 1 year and only cataloged for 2 years, and has become the crown jewel of almost anyone who collects AEC items at this point. Over the years, Lionel has released a really cool array of different AEC items. Let's take a look at each of the ones I have in the collection. This is every AEC item Lionel has released. There are a whole slew of uncatalogued and limited release custom items out there as well. The TCA and LCCA have put out a number of Lionel mint cars with AEC branding, including this one from the TCA Desert Division, these two from the 2019 TCA Convention, this one from the LCCA, and this uncatalogued version from 2013. There's also some that are not quite AEC, but are thematically pretty close even if they don't have the logo. Bob Geller from Geller's Toys also makes some spectacular custom pieces, a couple of which you saw in my collection. In addition to AEC, I have a few of his custom NASA pieces as well, and I can't recommend them highly enough. I'll put the link to his eBay store in the description below. While not labeled specifically as an AEC item, the 463 nuclear reactor is pretty intertwined considering the gondolas that are used to transport the raw and enhanced nuclear fuel. Lionel made two versions of this, the Archive Collection version in 2000, part number 6-14065, and the updated version in 2010, part number 6-24294. Both function the same way, with the updated version showing Lionel Fast Track in the marketing pictures and sporting an upgraded AEC decoration on the front. To my mind, this is easily one of the most interesting post-war style accessories Lionel ever put out. Before we wrap this video up, let's just watch the trains for a little while. This is an extraordinarily long consist, but the 3 GP9s did pretty well once I put them in TMCC mode so I could lash them all together.
Thanks for sticking around. Hopefully you learned something new or saw something cool. I have a lot more videos like this I'm excited to make, but I definitely want your input. I'm thinking for the next one, maybe we do the famous American Railroad sets that Lionel put out in the late 70s and early 80s. Or we could do the original bicentennial train with the boxcars for the original 13 colonies, which would be pretty fitting for 2026. We could also do the extended multi-year Mickey Mouse Express sets, either the one from 1976 to 1978, or the one released from 1991 to 1996. I mentioned the Odyssey demonstrators, and I would love to do that one, but still have a couple of those to collect. But service station sets? Maybe the entire Century Club or Century Club 2 sets, including all of the add-on tenders and train cars and everything else that came with them? We could even do one of every Vision Line locomotive ever released, or of all the MTH Amtrak turbo trains, or all of the MTH UP G-Tels. You get the idea. I love collecting sets, and I'm excited to share them with all of you. If you're interested. If you'd like to see one of them in particular, leave a comment down below, and if you like this kind of video, maybe, I don't know, subscribe, like it, all those things. This is one of the first longer videos I've released that wasn't an unboxing or a review, and I'm really learning as I go, so I definitely appreciate your feedback. I think that about wraps this one up. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked it, and I will see you back here at the layout soon.